Hello, I'm Colin, author of Pitlochry, A History, with another wee glimpse into this town's history. Pitlochry's always been a tourist destination. Since General Wade's Great North Road came through in 1728, in effect creating the village of Pitlochry in the process, visitors have been coming here at first on foot, on horseback and by stagecoach. From 1863 they came by train too, and they came in their thousands. Hotels sprung up to cater for them, large ones too, such as the Athol Palace, the Pitlochry Hydropathic, Fisher's Hotel and Scotland's Hotel. Indeed, it's reckoned that the railway caused a ninefold increase in visitors to the town. Later, it was the main road, more recently badged as the A9, which has brought people here. And of course it takes them away again, whether after a short visit of a few hours or perhaps as much as a few days. 100 years ago it was different. People came here for the whole season then, renting houses throughout the village, the owners of which retreated into their back cottages for the summer months. Yes, 100 years ago this place must have been really something. Most of the houses were built within a 20-year span at the end of the 19th century and into the 20th. Then they would have looked spanking new and were linked by the styles and techniques of a couple of local architects and a handful of building artisans. Those houses and their gardens were vast by today's standards, and some had private tennis courts and croquet lawns too. For example, in the main street alone, the large car park by the Tourist Information Centre sits on one garden, whilst all the houses in Newholme Avenue sit on another. The main street 100 years ago was attractive, lined by small stone-built cottages, a number with trees growing outside where now there are pavements. Shops had wrought iron balustrades. There were gas lights. The Butter Memorial Fountain stood opposite Fisher's Hotel. The gardens beside Fisher's Hotel, glorious and famous, were visible from the main street. The quaint Prince Charlie House jutted out into the main street opposite what is now the flower shop. And it was easy to see the bridge over the burn at the bottom of Bonnet Hill Road, where now we forget that there is a bridge there at all. There were of course the same ancient monuments we see now, but they were in a much better state then than they are today. Then the Black Castle had 3 surviving turrets, now there's only part of one. Then the Clachanadiri stone circle stood out in the open on Fernab Hill, now it's surrounded by forestry. Then the Class 2 picture stone at Dunfallendy had its inscriptions clear and distinct. Now they're eroded and are protected under glass. Then the ancient Laird's house at Pitt Castle to the east of Pitlochry was in reasonably good condition with its outside and inside staircases. Now it's an impenetrable ruin. The Falls of Tummel then were in their impressive glory. John Ruskin called them the only perfect waterfall. Now, the falls no longer roar and spume in perfection, as most of their water travels instead through an underground pipe which is almost 7 metres wide. And yet, in spite of such change and some deterioration, Pitlochry is still a place of beauty, still a place where tourists flock in their thousands each year. They partake in outdoor activities aplenty. They go to the theatre. They cross the dam. They visit the distilleries. They soak up the restful atmosphere. They marvel at the alpine quality of having Benivraci as the town's backdrop. And most of all, they just enjoy all the scenery and fresh air, which we locals, through familiarity, may take for granted. Indeed, without tourists, Pitlochry would be a place perhaps with a more ordinary history than a special one. Thank you.